Greetings, greetings, greetings. You are now tuned into the Vault. Trust Christian Own Nothing, Control Everything. Just want to thank you for tuning in live, listening to replay. Always appreciate everybody for tuning in live, listening to replay. This is the Vault, episode 592. Who should be on your first board of trustees? And so, this is one of those episodes that a lot of trustees come through and immediately they run into, do I need a lawyer? Do I need an accountant? Who do I need on my board of trustees? Who should be on your first board of trustees? So we definitely appreciate everybody that tunes in live, listens in the replay to this episode. Feel free to type into the chat where you tune in live, listen to replay. Let other people know where you listen in live, listen to replay. We definitely appreciate everybody that does tune in live, listens in the replay. This is the Vault episode 592. And so we've been doing this for a while now. As you can see, we're at episode 592. We just want to thank all the trustees that are traveling to actually come to the workshop. The workshop that's coming up here, the asset protection workshop, estate planning workshop. It's so important to get to these because this is where you're able to connect with people face to face, so you know that it is real. This is where you're able to connect with people, and you can, shake their hand. You could create relationships. And so that's what it's all about. It's never an end to your education. So this is just another event that encourages you all to invest in your private education. And for the price point, is something that we even had a trustee enroll last night, yesterday actually, and let us know that for the price point, it's an incredible price, incredible steal. And we're always been aware of that, ladies and gentlemen. We are very aware of pretty much the environment that we're in. We're in an environment that has a high barrier to entry. You have to have a certain amount of money to get in. That's what the mentors have told us for years. So we definitely know that it's one of those things that you want to be present at these type of events, especially on a micro level. Uh, it's a big deal. Something that allows people to get around and get to things, and really get served in a very very proper manner. So definitely excited about that, and looking forward to connecting with everybody that actually makes it to the workshop. So, pretty exciting. Safe travels to everybody. Once again, we've got people that definitely are traveling from New York, Jersey, Atlanta, Chicago, LA, Texas, so quite a few places in Texas. People from Georgia itself, people from Florida, people from the Carolinas. So it's definitely a pretty broad range of people that are traveling from all over the country, and we appreciate that. So feel free to type into the chat, hit the like, hit the subscribe button. This particular episode, who should be on your first board of trustees, can be a situation where that's what the whole program and trustee training is all about. It's about, do you have a system to pass along your wealth to your family, and the system is going to be based off of your team, and first board of trustees. So what it looks like, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like there's senior trustees that have pretty much heavy decision making, and then you get into not just high levels decision making. We get into, you could say, a chief legal officer. So who do you have as a trustee that that's a competent lawyer? We get trustees that come to us all the time and they'll say, "Oh man, you can't trust the lawyers. You can't trust the lawyers." But that's not something that we espouse to at the vault. Just because we've always been around lawyers. Some of our original mentors were lawyers, meaning that they have learned the law practice. They may not be practicing it as far as an active bar member or something of that nature. So once again, having competent legal counsel around is going to allow you to get case law. It's going to allow you to throw off your ideas, and really test your ideas against somebody that's competent. How do you find someone that's competent? We've talked about this in the podcast before, or even at workshops. You want to find the best people, ladies and gentlemen. This is something that, uh, where we remember sitting around one of our mentors and he told us to quit trusteeship. So, does that mean you're supposed to quit building generational wealth and protecting generational wealth? Not at all. He just is letting us know, like, you don't have the right mindset right now for what you're talking about. And for that reason, we didn't quit. We made it a point to get around people that are the best at what they do, and they will challenge you at times. They will say things to you that you have to be able to say it's either, you're either in that proper alignment or you're not. So, very, very important to connect with those people that are the best at what they do, recruiting the best legal team. Some people say, "Oh man, well, when do I need a lawyer?" You need a lawyer when you need a lawyer, but at the same time, why not reach out to people and let them know, "Hey, our family is in this position. Do you have any time to look over things? Can we pay you more of a consultation so you can look over things?" What are they going to provide? Not much if you don't need the help right now. That's the challenge for trustees. Sometimes they'll say, "Oh man, trust Christian Revolt. I gotta find a lawyer." Well, if you found a lawyer, what are you gonna use him for right now? Do you need to know how to transfer property? Then you should go to them and say, "Hey, look," and because you gotta remember, are they gonna draft the documents for you, or are they just looking over some paperwork? In-house lawyers would look over the paperwork, not always draft it. Maybe the paralegal drafts it. Maybe you build a relationship with a paralegal, and then you also build a relationship with the actual lawyers that are in estate planning, not just what is it? We had this one lawyer come to us recently, tried to act like they were better than somebody. It's like, first of all, you're a insurance lawyer. You're not a lawyer that deals with trusteeship. We've been in this for years. If you want to hit the books, hit the books. But we've been doing this for years. It's better to have experience doing something than to sit there talking about, "Oh yeah, I could go read a book on it." No, sure, no, of course you can. But there's a difference between knowing what you're talking about and doing what you're talking about. We doing it at the vault. We don't want to talk to them about it. But they want to sit here and be some insurance lawyer. That's where y'all got to watch out for these lawyers out here that they got this PC or PA behind their name. Y'all got to watch out for that type of stuff. That's just the bottom line. We sat down with some trustees the other week. "Oh man, trust Christian Revolt. I got some competent people that's going to sit on the board." Who are they? Do they got 15 to 20 plus years of experience in trusteeship? If they don't, next. You looking for somebody that's went through a few administration changes in the public, someone that's went through a few legal, actually market shifts in the public. Well, they've seen a down market for real estate. They've seen an up market for real estate. They can tell you how they dealt with it in trusteeship, how they deal with titling property, how they deal with those things. Laws have changed in the public. So that's what we're talking about. How do you find that competent legal counsel? Usually they might say they have a JD. You'll hear them, a lot of them say Juris Doctorate. Just they got a good amount of education, but that doesn't mean that they're practicing law, ladies and gentlemen. There are quite a few people that go to law school that don't practice in the courtroom. So you got chief legal officer, you got somebody that deals with trusteeship, and they might be counseled out. They might be brought in-house, depending on how big the family estate is. That's what it comes down to. It depends on how big the family estate is. You might want to bring somebody in and say, "Hey, we just need your oversight. We need your legal knowledge for periods of time." That may be 2 hours a month, 4 hours a month. That's not a lot of hours. It's 1 hour every week. Could be 4 hours at the end of the month. So when you're looking at it, 4 hours a month, they're going to bill you out for 4 hours a month. That could be $400 to make sure that you're in the right compliance. So we got chief legal officer. What about CFO? Oh man, we had a trustee come to us recently say, "Oh man, my family member, they got a degree and background in accounting." We're not saying you got to do double bookkeeping entry and all that good stuff. We're not saying that. What we are saying is having somebody that's familiar with the forms that are involved with trusteeship. 1041s, 990 PF, various different things that we go through with trustees in our system and what we work with them on. That's what we do. We work with them in that capacity. Okay. Then your first board of trustees may be your current accountant. So you may say, "Okay, we got a current accountant, Once you have a current accountant, don't you think it's wise to see if they're knowledgeable about what you're doing? And have they had any issues with what you're doing? And how did they get over those issues in what you're doing? What's the biggest issue that they've encountered? How did they overcome it? What should be your first, who should be on your first board of trustees? It's real simple. Competent people, confident people. Sometimes one of the mentors say, I wanted an aggressive lawyer this time. Like, man, how aggressive can they get? But once again, having somebody to be proactive is very, very important. Very, very important. Who should be on your first board of trustees? We talked about the lawyer. We talked about the accountant. But what about just a trust advisor? Do you guys work with a bank? Do you work with an estate planner? Do you know someone else that's been private for a long time? Not your wife, not your husband. These are the things that we've seen trustees try to do. They try to put their significant other as one position and they're another position. Well, you're on the first board of trustees. Are you co-mingling? That's the question, ladies and gentlemen. Are you co-mingling? Okay, so we got legal, accounting. We should deal with operations. Operations is going to be your advisors, ladies and gentlemen. What are your advisors like? Every day. What are your advisors like? Do you have good advisors around you? We got trustees that come and say, oh, I don't have a mentor. I don't have an advisor. We already know they're doomed to fail. Sorry to hear that, guys. But we already know that they're doomed to fail. Why? Because you have to have good teams around you. Teams win championships. Teams pass along family wealth. Families pass along family wealth, ladies and gentlemen. That's just the facts. Who should be on your first board? Somebody, once again, reaching out. Some people always ask, hey, Trust Christian Vol, how did you find this information? First of all, we found it from private families, from private mentors. Some of them have passed away. Some of them are still living. For the most part, we were in an environment with private families because that's where we would talk. That's where we were talking about it at. Was in the private rooms, such as the workshop that we're having. Okay, that's a fact. So, the Vault Consulting, Education and Training. The focus is to educate and train families. So then you got someone on the board. Now this is where they can actually parse out and say, you know what, Trust Christian Vault, we need you to sit on our board as a educational consultant so we can build out the second gen communications, so we can build out educational programs, standards that we want our family to stand by and things of that nature. Of course. Because it is about education. It is about training. If you don't have the education, how can you train someone? So it's about getting the information, getting the education, and training them. That's what makes it a system. That's what makes it duplicatable. Do we have a system in place, ladies and gentlemen? So we got legal, we got accounting. Those are the biggest things. Oh man, Trust Christian Vote, I'm looking for an accountant, but I need him to do bookkeeping. Look, all you got, it's not one of those things we're giving legal advice or financial advice. Those things aren't necessary for people that aren't making any money. But if you're making some money, why not have an accountant? Why not have the CPA look over it? Of course we want higher. Of course we want better. We want bigger firms. We're not planning on staying with small firms for the rest of our life. That's a fact. Who should be on your first board of trustees? Finding somebody that's actually an entrepreneur so they can train whoever they want into being an entrepreneur. Focused on getting it. Focused on providing value to other trustees. They can call them. They can talk to them about trusteeship. We still have that tool to this day where we can call our mentor and talk about anything that we're going through that's emotional. Because it does weigh on you. So you got legal, you got accounting. Where y'all want to go? COO? Chief Operating Officer? We did that one. Do we need a marketing officer? Not necessarily. You're the senior trustees. Are they called senior trustees? It's up to you. Maybe the chairman is the only, maybe the big one is the only main one that actually will be a chairman. Will be a senior mentor, senior equity holder. And everybody else they getting peanuts. Maybe they don't get any interest in the trusteeship. Maybe they just get what they need and it's not inside of that. So who should be on your first board of trustees? It's a mentor. It's legal. It's accounting. Who else trusts Christian in the vault? Well, we talked about it as far as a protector goes. Few trustees come back and ask about protectors. The thing about protectors, ladies and gentlemen, are they involved in the trust or are they not? That's the difference. See, we could talk that talk because they don't have it down the way that we have it. That's the facts. So who should be your first board of trustees? We got chairman, we got legal, we got operations. As we grow, we might get an internal investor relations so we can communicate with trustees that are active. That's how that works, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Who else is on the first board of trustees? When you talk about these people in specific, they are educated to some of the highest levels. So when you're looking for this talent, you can search, okay, what's our mission statement? What are we here to do? Okay, I need to find somebody in that area of interest that I have. Is that fair? I have to find someone that's in that area of interest that I have. No delays, just getting it done. So, who should be on your first board of trustees? Business people. People that understand how to separate their business from their personal. So when they show up, because they left their family for dinner to come be there with your family, they understand how important family is. That's how. They want to remember that. Appreciate everybody for tuning in live, listening, replay. I always appreciate everybody that tunes in live, listens in a replay. Feel free to hit that like and the subscribe button. Always feel free to type into the chat where you're listening live, listening to replay from. So who should be in your first board of trustees? That was the easy one, ladies and gentlemen. Just set it up like a traditional business. That's what one of the mentors told us. Same one that told us to quit. He said, set it up like it's public. You won't have any problems. Like, why? Well, you're not setting it up literally. You're just managing from a public mentality. Knowing that you know privacy, but the people that you're engaging with on a daily basis don't have it. They don't know about it. That's just the facts, ladies and gentlemen. So since you know, it's not necessarily your job to educate them, but you do want to find the best of the best. And that's something that we're noticing working on another project right now. Is if you want to be the best, you got to find out the best. If you want to build generational wealth, you got to hang out around people that have generational wealth. It's not hard, ladies and gentlemen. It's fairly simple. But we know it's not easy for most people because it does require some work. It requires studying. It requires you becoming proficient and skilled at your craft. Oh man, we just going to have an entity come in and take over. Yeah, but what happens when it's time to administer? Even if you pass, was there never anything written in the doc? What was written in the doc? Who's the beneficiary? Who's the trustee? Appreciate everybody for tuning in live, listening, replay. Always appreciate it. Should be to be your first board of trustees. You see some people say, oh man, can I let my family in? Of course you can let your family in. You got your family be at the workshop. We've had families come to the workshop for years. Okay, they're going to bring their family. The children are learning indirectly by the way people carry themselves in the environment. The Board of Trustees. Board of Trustees allow you to open up conversations with other people more often. So we appreciate everybody for tuning in live, listen, replay. This is the Vault. Just gonna go ahead and give y'all this episode, which is who should be on the first Board of Trustees. It's really simple, ladies and gentlemen. People that you can trust, people that you like, people that you respect, all of the above, and finding a way to make it happen, ladies and gentlemen. Trusteeship's not for the faint of heart. Trusteeship is for those that understand the importance of protecting assets and creating and training people in how to manage and grow generational wealth. We appreciate everybody that tunes in live, listen, and replay. Always appreciate everybody that tunes in live, listen, and replay. This is Christian at TrustChristian.com. Once again, it's Christian at TrustChristian.com. Always appreciate everybody that tunes in live, listen, and replay. This is the Vault, episode 592. Who should be on your first Board of Trustees? Of course, we would like to have an accountant in-house. We're going to bring those people in-house, legal. We're going to bring in accounting, legal, accounting. We're going to bring those people in, ladies and gentlemen. Does it take and does it happen overnight? No. But it is something that we can say for a period of time, you'll be able to make whatever decision you want to make after that because you'll be living free. If it's truly about freedom, you'll be living free. So we got it. The first Board of Trustees. Hopefully it's not just yourself and you trying to be the CEO. Why be the CEO? A founder's just as good. A founder's 1% good. So, appreciate everybody for tuning in live, listen, replay. Always appreciate it. Feel free to type into the chat where you're listening from. Christian at TrustChristian.com. Christian at TrustChristian.com. Peace and joy.